Okay, here I have a Sony DVD player, just a little one of these tiny little ones, a DVP-SR200P. And when I originally got this, the actual drawer was out of alignment, so I had to fiddle around a little bit to get the drawer to mechanically work again. But after I did that, I actually found out the belt's also faulty in it, so all I'm going to be doing today is replacing the belt in this. Now that I finally remembered to order one for it, it's only a friend's one and it's been sitting around for quite a while, and I pretty much forgot about it until I ordered some parts and thought I'd better get a belt for it. Now I ordered a 22x1, so hopefully I've got the right one here. Only a very small, so 22 being the length, which is basically if you squeeze the belt together, what is that, the diameter? I forget now. I think you measure the length to find that. I think that's actually diameter by 1 is the square section, so it's 1mm square. Normally what you do is you fold these flat together and then measure the length when they're squeezed together, and then double that gives you the total length, and then you look up in the catalogue to find the diameter. So that looks like about a 22mm diameter, somewhere between about a 20mm and a 25mm piece of conduit. So it'd have to be the diameter, I think. So if I switch this on, I should be able to, it does still eject, I think. Once it gets going, if I've got a display, there it is. A bit slow to get going like most of this modern stuff. It's actually working better than I thought it was, but I know it does slip a bit. So all we've got to do is eject the tray and then push it back in a little bit, so we expose the belt there. There's just a little motor here and a little pulley. And then hopefully I'll get my finger around it. Might need a little screwdriver just to lift it up a bit, and off it pops. So it's just a tiny little belt, certainly around the same size. This other one should be identical, just a tad smaller. So ideally you get one a millimetre or so smaller. After you've measured it, you go for the next size down. Some cotton buds here somewhere. Always best to give the pulleys a clean. I think I might have already done it in this one, but just to be sure, just dip a cotton bud in some methane, wedge it into the little slot where the belt sits on the motor pulley, and just rotate that the full 360 degrees, nothing coming off there. And same with the other pulley. This actually looks like it's got a little bit of grease on it maybe. Anything that looks like grease or dirty stuff, just clean it off and then put it in the slot. When I wind this one, it's actually winding the drawer back in, and there's a little bit of muck coming off there. Often go to do it once and then go to a clean part of the cotton bud and do it again, just to make sure, just in case there's any grease or anything on there. And you use a bit of methyl or something, just because it's a good cleaner, but also it evaporates nice and quickly. We don't want to put the belt onto a wet surface, so I think that's pretty well dried off alright. And I should be able to just hook this over the big pulley, getting it in the slot, and then just pull it over the motor and just let it pop back in. Give it a quick turn, that'll get rid of any twists in the belt. Now there is a little bit of white stuff there, because sometimes it doesn't hurt to clean the belt since you've had your potentially greasy fingers on it. That's certainly nice and tight, a little bit better than the other one, which was a little lumpy. As it turned around, there was a bit of, I think that one's just stretched ever so slightly. Doesn't feel too bad. You could almost use that in something else probably, but I won't. If you had something with that you needed a slightly larger belt, power supply makes a little bit of a squealing sound, which is often the case with these modern ones. Oh, the switch modes are quite noisy in a lot of them, even though all the caps and stuff are fine. So now I need to find a DVD. Just make sure it reads the disc, spins it up, and it should get to the table of contents. And I better get a TV set up. Should put this little one up there, will do the job on this, since it's on an AV source. Oops. Try not to drop that inside the unit and short anything out. Video out, audio out. So that should probably be on a menu or something, I think, with this disc. I used to have a disc from a video store that would actually just go straight into autoplay, which was brilliant for testing things, but I think I left it at a place I used to work, not thinking I'd ever need it again. Yeah, we've got the time code coming up in here. It's reading something, so that's a good sign. TV's on. I don't know if I can do much on one of these without... Doesn't have many buttons on it, so I may not be able to actually access much. No, I probably can't. Oh, is it doing anything? And it doesn't seem to be any sound there. But I may have turned that down.
Guys, where are you from?
Argentina.
Argentina?
Argentina.
From Spain, from Papa. Came all the way from England for today. From Germany to see Army in Belgium. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yep, that's all working.
From Boston. We're from France, Paris, Germany. I'm from Spain.
Australia.
All the way from New Zealand tonight. I'm from Greece. I'm from Panama City, Spain.
So if we eject that and run it a few times just to make sure it's alright. That's certainly working more reliably than it did originally. Occasionally it would have trouble loading the disc in properly, or ejecting it, or both of those. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was definitely having a bit of issues, and that's why someone, I think, forced a disc out of it and got it out of alignment. Luckily they didn't break anything, but a lot of these you can open them up and even push the tray out on some of these if the belt's faulty, rather than trying to force anything. But once you get that forward a little bit, which is a bit hard with a disc in it, but once you get it forward a bit you can actually wind it by hand. Yeah, that's a reading again. So I think that one we can call it fixed. So I might have a look. I don't want to mess it up again, but if that's stuck in there, can I actually... Yeah, so this one doesn't really want to do anything with a disc in it. So I can see why someone had trouble, but it's still better to get someone to look at it properly. Let's see if we load that in with a... Yeah, so it does cover it up when the disc's in, which makes life difficult. Sometimes you can pull the whole mechanism out and just wind it from below, which I'd say this is likely possible with this one. It's only a couple of screws and possibly the door. The other problem can be the doors. Sometimes you have to take the door off to get the deck out, and of course if it's jammed and won't eject, that can make life very difficult. Some of them, this one looks like it would probably fit through the front. Yes, I can see a gap right around it, so this is a good design. So you could actually take the front panel off if need be, and then a couple of screws, pull probably a couple of connectors there. Should be able to lift this up. There is another connector there, I think, which may not have to come off. You can get the deck out and actually wind it from underneath by hand, which is a much better way to do it until you can get access to the belt, which is accessible for most of the run of this tray. So basically anywhere from there we can wind it by hand on the top side here. Although the gear is there, so maybe you can't wind this one from underneath. Just to make it difficult, but often getting the deck out, there's some way or other of doing it. A bit slow to turn on like most of the modern stuff. Just loaded it in. Come on. Ideally I'd test this right to the end of the disc. Usually best to go to the very last tracks and make sure it tracks the disc properly, doesn't drop out or crash or stop playing, because as the disc, they start reading the tracks on the inside, and as they get further out there's more wobble in the disc and stuff, so if any of the motors are iffy or anything, or the laser, it'll certainly usually play up. It might read the inner tracks alright where there's not much wobble in the disc, but as you get to the outer ones towards the end of it, it'll get worse. But I haven't got a remote for this, so they didn't say there was anything wrong with the playback or anything, so I won't worry about on this. It's always nice to try it, but I don't have the ability to change the tracks on it, so I think we'll call that one fixed. and just a matter of putting the lid back on it. It's just that simple. So just a little belt, only I think it was about $3 or something, so not expensive. Just a matter of getting the thing apart. Get the old one. I don't think I've got a roller here, but or a tape measure. You just squeeze them together until they're flat, and you do that alongside, pushing one side against the tape measure or something, as long as you get it fairly close, and then you double that length, and it's going to measure around, I guess, 30mm or something like that, and then double that to 60, and you can look it up in a catalogue of a parts supplier who usually, you know, you can give you a listing of lengths, and then you can order it by the diameter that they also give you in the same listing, so the length converts to diameter. I don't know why in a way they don't just sell you by the length, but that's how they do it. At least at like Wagner Electronics in Australia and a few others like that, I think are all the same. But that's all that was wrong with that, just a little bit slippy, and that should get that going for her again, and hopefully get quite a few more years use out of that. Again, it's not something that's really worth spending a lot of money or time on, but this is just a nice quick fix. A lot of these things, it's amazing how quickly you can get them going. More something you do for your friends or something, not necessarily a viable job if you're running a business, but even then, yeah, it's only a very quick job to do, so you might as well, if the customer's willing to spend a little bit of money on it, it doesn't have to get the thing going again, rather than just chucking it in the e-waste. And yeah, if it was a really cheapo brand, you probably wouldn't worry, but at least the Sony's probably a little bit better than a lot of the stuff out there. It looks like it's actually not just rebadged, it's actually been designed by Sony, this thing. So probably better than most of the stuff you can buy out of the store these days. If they're still, I haven't bought a DVD player in many years, but if they're anything like they were getting to be, they're probably pretty poor quality these days. But again, with all the streaming and that, pretty much obsolete tech in many ways, but if you've got a bit of a DVD collection, they're always handy to have. And the owner of this probably for one of her kids or something, so they can watch DVDs. So there's still a bit of use for them in the world, even if it's just a kid's bedroom or something. But it goes to show they can often be easily fixed. And got going again, does all the different types of playback. Other than that, it's a pretty basic player. But anyway, that should keep that one going. Catch you on the next one.